I spoke recently about this quote unquote teacher who had a background in education, teaching our class about babies and breastfeeding and stuff like that. And I find it very interesting that, the way she teaches stuff, because the student had a question. And so, the way she answered it, I'll go into later. But, there's a point where it's open for discussion. She didn't really like those. I don't think she likes interacting with the class. But, she paused and she said, what are reasons you've had for people stop being breastfeeding? And some said, well, they don't produce enough milk. And she immediately responded with, well, that's a common misconception. A common misconception. You just write them off, right? I write people off, but I'm not even that mean or a jerk. But the thing is, why do you say a common misperception? Why do you say there's no validity? Why do you say everybody produces enough milk? You're saying nobody doesn't produce enough milk? Well, at the very end, she did add, well, there may be a few who that is the case for. Okay. So you just write everybody else off and saying you're just delusional, right? You don't want to assure them. You don't want to tell them about what's going on. It's not good to say people are stupid and wrong and delusional to start off with, right? I would say you just turned off a whole audience. But I found that very interesting that she basically propagandized breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is great. I don't disagree. But breastfeeding is not everything and is not essential, right? It's not like not eating. That's pretty bad. You can't live if you don't eat. You can't live if you don't drink, right? But breastfeeding is not like that. Breastfeeding is not like not getting vaccines. Breastfeeding is not like, I guess there's not much else that's so important, right? But breastfeeding is something that's good, but I don't think it's the same way essential, right? It's like saying people should eat healthier. I don't think any of us disagree, but not everybody does it for a myriad of reasons, right? Some of us don't eat healthy because they don't have the time. They don't want to cook. Some people don't eat healthy because they don't like the taste of the healthy food. They can't wait that 6 months. Do you know apparently our taste buds change in 6 months? But 6 months is a really long time to wait. I tell this to patients all the time. And when I was eating like really healthy food at my wife's parents' place, I realized, wow, it's really hard. I had to put up with this for a month. And it's like 6 months. Whoa, right? I don't know if it gets easier as time goes on. But anyways, it's funny how these people, educators, medical system, have to push a certain paradigm, if you want to be nice about it, or worldview, if you don't want to be so nice about it, right? Like there's multiple worldviews, and who's to say theirs is correct? It's like with COVID, everybody's saying you should wear a dust mask. What does a dust mask do? It's airborne. We all knew that to begin with, right? Dust mask doesn't do that. It just passes right through. Why do you wear a dust mask? And now people are saying, hey, did you know? Like my doctor friend told me that the masking doesn't help. I was like, you mean dust masks? Why did anybody think they helped? He said, well, N95 as well. I was like, well, N95, like I've talked about this before. The fit is so important. You move your head, the fit may not be, it's not great. It's better to have a device like a PAPR just blows air in and pushes the batter out. Pretty sure that's effective. But anyways, why is it that they always have to push this narrative instead of letting people use their brains? Is it because they think people are too stupid, can't use their brains, you have to brainwash them? Because wouldn't that be the same as what communist China does or other places? Why would a place like America, where supposedly people are supposed to be intelligent and capable of thinking, why would institutions push a narrative and not allow any dissent, or not understand that there's an opposing argument that has some validity? I don't know. My friend commented that it's probably the Kaiser way, right? And I don't know if it is or not. I don't know what a course would be at any other institution. But I do feel like it's definitely teacher dependent, right? Because the teacher has a big role in this. They could push it, or they could say this. I think many times the issue is the teacher doesn't, at least my educator, doesn't know that much, and they're just going to push it. Read from the textbook. Because they have no other life experience, knowledge to suppose otherwise. And all they could do is overcompensate for their lack of knowledge by being overconfident and saying you're wrong and saying I'm right and this is why, and all your arguments are just stupid.